Hello and welcome to today's lesson. We will be looking at Q Skills 3, Listening and Speaking, Unit 4, Modals Expressing Attitude. Before we begin looking at modals expressing attitude, let's take a look at modal verbs themselves. What are modal verbs? Modal verbs are auxiliary verbs, also known as helping verbs, and normally cannot work alone and must work with a main verb. Some examples of modal verbs include can, could, will, would, shall, should, may, might, and must and ought to. What are the rules? Well, here are some that we can consider. They are followed by a verb in the base form without to, also known as infinitive. Here we can see an example. I can run very fast. Can is the modal verb, and run is the main verb. They are the same for all pronouns. They do not add an S for third person singular. So here we have she, he, I could make it better. You can see the verb make keeps its form and there is no S added. Another rule is they do not need auxiliary verbs and take direct negative and question forms. Take a look at these two examples. You can't talk here. Can you repeat that? So those two are correct. This is the incorrect way to say this. You can't be talk here. Can you repeat that? And the last rule here we have, they do not combine with another modal verb. For example, you will never say, you can't, must, read. Now let's go to our books. I want you to turn to page 80, Unit 4. Here is the grammar skill, modals expressing attitude. Let's take a look at this together. Modal verbs are special auxiliary verbs that help to express the attitude of the speaker. They are followed by the base form of the verb. Prohibition. Ads must not mislead anyone. They can't say anything false. Another attitude we have is strong obligation. Ads have to be truthful. They must tell the truth. Perhaps a recommendation. You should eat healthily during Ramadan. You shouldn't overeat when you break your fast. If you ask me, there ought to be fewer ads on television. No obligation. You don't have to watch ads if you don't want to. Note that must or must not are more common in writing than in conversation. Did you notice ought to? Ought to is always with to. If you want more time to go through this grammar skill, pause the screen and press play when you're ready. Now let's do some listening practice. The file for this activity is in the LMS Resources folder. Log in to your LMS account to access all audio and video files. So now let's take a look at the activity. Listen to the conversation and circle the modal verbs that you hear. Then practice the conversation with a partner. Please press play on your audio and complete the activity. Okay, so how did you do? Let's take a look at the answers. You can see in the middle, we have don't have to. Then we have number 2, don't have to. Number 3, can't. Number 4, should. And number 5, shouldn't. So let's go through this dialogue, starting with Yvonne. Oh, look at that ad. Those poor animals. How can they show them suffering like that? I think it's terrible. Really? I think it's quite effective. They're trying to get your attention, you know. Well, they don't have to do it that way. It's not necessary, and it's upsetting. You don't have to look at it if you don't want to. That's not the point. That kind of advertising makes me really angry. I'm sure there's a law that says they can't use animals like that. Maybe you should complain then. Yes, I think I will. They shouldn't be allowed to do that. If you would like to practice modals expressing attitude, how about you log into your LMS to do some LMS activities? Thank you. Goodbye.